for today. So for our today's side event, it is called the Global Knowledge Exchange and New Skills of Nature-Based Solutions about forestry power to mitigate climate change. And our session will last for 1.5 hours. And thank you guys very, very much for coming for today. And I would like to officially open for our session. And thank you very much. Welcome. And for our first speaker, more than privileged to have invited Mr. Yuanqing, who came from China Green Carbon Foundation. He's the Deputy Secretary General of China Green Carbon Foundation. Let's welcome Yuanqing. His presentation title is The Best Practice of Forest Carbon Neutral for Climate Change and Biodiversity, the Stories and Actions in China. Let's welcome.
Good morning, guests, ladies and gentlemen. Here is my presentation, the best practice of forest carbon and carbon neutral for climate change and biodiversity. It's my pleasure to come here to join with us to tell you the Chinese actions and the story. We do the best practice to show what Chinese people do. So the first section is multiple benefits, first carbon or first carbon neutral project design. The second part is best practice, show 6 cases to you. And the third part is our next commitment and actions. So what is a high quality forest carbon or forestry carbon neutral project? How do we generate high quantify forest carbon credits? How to take actions? As we know, most of the forest carbon projects will generate carbon credits. According to UNEP released report, almost all of the carbon sequestration credits, the average cost around 30 to 50 US dollars. Or in China, the average cost similar the same, from 300 to 400 RMBs. So, but right now, the market's price is extremely low, but the corporates or the market need more high quantified forest carbon. So how we can to provide the high quantified carbon credits? I think from my opinion, we should follow the 5 principles. The first, we should choose the best area or the good places to do our projects. The second, we should insist additionality. That means we should provide more fund or additional technology to improve the eco restoration. The third part, we need to combine with the biodiversity conservation. The fourth part, we should to implement the project to improve local green sustainable development. The fifth, how to restore or doing the plan bioscientific planning. So 10 years together with many domestic and international partners, we have committed to develop and capacity buildings of multiple forest carbon sequestration or carbon neutral projects, exploring a new approach of NbS. So these 3 main principles we apply. The first one is we do the forest carbon or the restoration work. The main target is to do the climate change mitigation and adaptation together. The third part, we need to do in the project to choose the locations of the species habitat and also the rich biodiversity area. The third part, we promote local environment, local people's neighborhoods to help them to sustainable and green development. Here is our China's strategy for nature strategy to 2016. We saw the map. We saw the map. Around hope to 2025 to 30, all of the fossils we will go to the page. And after 2030s, all of the fossil use will gradually down. But until to the during if we go to the 2060s, there's still a amount of the carbon emissions still there. So we have to use in land use and land use change and for LULUCF and forest and CCUS to remove all of the carbon emissions together to reach the net zero. So as we know, the forest and other ecosystems has two functions. One is address mitigation. Another part is very important of the adaptation. Here I will introduce 6 projects we have already done since 2010. The first part, we restore the giant panda habitat. It's supported by Novartis. This project demonstrates biodiversity conservation, mitigation, and adaptation of the climate change support, development in rural country area. This is a really poor area in China, in Sichuan province. It's called Southwest Liangshan area. There is also giant panda habitat. As we saw, the dark green area is our nature reserves, national level nature reserves, and the light green part is our biodiversity key areas. So we try to by the forest carbon project to build up the corridors between the different nature reserves to protect the giant panda habitat. Here is 10 years later. The second project, we do the demonstration in the degrade and in the semi-arid area of in Mongolia. We can saw the berry land. This what's the project before. After 10 years, all of the restoration work done and the local vegetation gradually regenerate again. And meanwhile, after the monitoring, a lot of the wildlife come back again, like deers, like other fox and birds come back. We build up the corridors between the key biodiversity priority area. The third project is our Winter Olympic Games Forest Carbon project. We started project in 2016. This project is very close to Peking, and it's also the important national park area in the Chongli area where the Winter Olympic Games are organized. And this also very important water resources. Do you know the ant forest? It's a very big restoration work in China right now, supported by ant corporation. After more than 8 years, the ant project and forest project, we have already, the ant company has already plant 400 million trees and also protect a lot of the protected areas. As one of the biggest partner of the and forest, we have 5 years. We have 5 years work, and right now we raise more than 200 million RMB for all of the restoration work and plant 12 million trees in 6 provinces using 8 different species. And another example is from Shunfeng carbon neutral program we launch. And we know Shunfeng Express is one of the biggest express corporation in China. After they doing their carbon neutral strategy, at least 9% of carbon emission reduction cannot be reduced. So we have Shunfeng Corporate to using the carbon sequestration or carbon neutral forest to reduce all of the 9%. Right now, we are not only to doing the project, but also to let the staffs of the Shunfeng go with us to plant trees together, and we implement more than 2 enterprise carbon neutral project in China, and in the future we will together to involve more and more partners, other business partners join with us together. Here is all of the plan. This 2 project launched Shunfeng Forest carbon neutral project launch in China this year, and the total investment or donation is 30 million Chinese RMBs. We hope to, after 3 years plantation, to restore 2 areas, very key project areas. Here is our Hebei province project. We launched this spring, and the Sichuan Park project will launch this summer. And in Sichuan province is also Tibetan area. We do a lot of the green development to support local communication together. We also cooperate with CICC charity to plan Eco Plus project in China. It's also beginning as a very small scale restoration work in Hebei province. But after 2020, China declared the 2060 carbon neutral goals. So we have to plan more projects together to restore more areas and combine with biodiversity and development together. Here we plan 4 carbon neutral projects in China. One is in Hebei, one is in Shanxi, one is in Sichuan, and another one in Yunnan. And we also plan a biodiversity conservation project in Tibetan area, southeast part of Tibet. We do a lot of the biodiversity work. Here is our project in Hebei, and a lot of staff participate or planning. And the 3rd part we launched in Yunnan last year. And this project we invite Tsinghua University, the students stay with us to do the project together, to do a lot of research work, how try to design the sustainable development for the local local communities. And the third project launched this summer. Here we saw the areas, planting trees. All of the project has already finished, and we do the biodiversity project. It's surprise. We we saw the tiger. We take the pictures of the tiger, and this is one of the heritage trees in China. We do a lot of the biodiversity investigation to survey to get the biodiversity report. So Forest Carbon project, not only what we do, we promote them to employ more NbS projects in China. Our commitment and action in the future, during the COP25, Top 50 in Kunming, China Green Carbon Foundation will, together with domestic and foreign partners, commit to activities to promote development and implementation, biodiversity conservation, and while addressing climate change, and promote best practice of nature-based solution to coordinate response to crisis of biodiversity loss and climate crisis by 2030. And we also commit to raise at least 200 million RMBs to support cooperate actions on biodiversity conservation and addressing climate change in China. By grant of Apple, we're also doing the Sichuan Forestry Sustainable Management Priority Area Planning, and we will release 2 guidelines to do that work. And we also developed a new urban carbon removal methodology and monitoring guidelines, and also this will be released at this December. Hope we will working all of the partners together in the future. We will strengthen the international cooperation and exchange knowledges, and to implement forest-focused and nature-based solution to climate change and achieve harmonious development between people and nature. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hou Yuanqing, and I'm glad to see a lot of forestry carbon projects happening in China. And for next speaker, I'm glad to invite Dr. Guangyu Wang from Faculty of Forestry at University of British Columbia. He's Associate Dean there. And his presentation title for today is New Pathways for Forestry Development in Response to Climate Change, Carbon Offset, and Health Industry. Let's welcome Dr. Wang.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your introduction. We know that China is doing very well on the forest carbon. And my talk today is another new path for forest development to respond to climate change, particularly for carbon offset and the health industry. And this my talk about forestry is in a crossroads. And the forest carbon project in a global level is a race. Bamboo forest for carbon offset innovation is one of the ways we can promote the carbon, also the forest for public health, and forest therapy is one of the way we can generate revenue. And the final one is like a new model, restoring the forest, reduce greenhouse gases, and help improve the human health. So everyone knows very well the climate impact in forestry. We had the fire, we had the landslide, had the flooding. Also, in BC as well, we have a lot of things happening. The mills were closed down, and the local government and the local resident was suffering. And the global forest and the forest in the crossroads. So what we can do for future, like also the forest carbon offset project is in question. So I was review several paper published in Science, and there are questions about a lot of forest carbon offset project is actually do nothing. This here I proposed to, after working with several universities in my partner university in Zhejiang, in China Green Carbon Foundation, and also the INBAR, we're thinking about the bamboo carbon credit generation can be one of the means for carbon for the climate change. Another thing is forest therapy for enhanced human health. So the first thing is bamboo carbon credit generation. So probably you guys will hear more about why the bamboo is good for carbon generation. This is in a global level, they have the 90 general and over 1,200 species. And the distribution is almost in tropical and subtropical, some in the temperate area. So in the currently have 35 million hectares globally. And the bamboo can be mature in the 3 to 4 years. And 1 hectare of the most of bamboo can generate annually 24 tons of the carbon CO2. It's about four times of the Chinese fir and 4 times of the master pine in a similar region. So when you harvesting bamboo every year, you actually help enhance the bamboo ecosystem. But right now they have several issues in the bamboo area. First thing is about the labor cost and the price we decline, and land fermentation and the financial support. And this is one of the research I was conducted in this summer in Anji City. They have developed the Green Carbon Fund to generate the funding for land transferable carbon storage and scale management, and also for reward to the local. This is the new model is very successful to consolidating the small farmer into the large management unit to enhance the efficiency and effectiveness, and implementing the intensive management practice to facilitate the professional management team, and enhance carbon additionality by implementing practice like fertilizing and cross management, and also the infrastructure like road development. And this you probably will hear more about from Professor Zhou. I specifically like the book about the bamboo king, carbon king, and they will put more detail about that. So the second thing I would like to talk about the forest for public health. I think it's a game changing in forestry. So if you guys look at during the COVID, most people go to where? Most people stay home, but only place they go is to go to the park. So go to the forest park, go to the garden. So you can see this is in Canada, the things people was mainly travel to the park during the COVID. And based on WHO, is one of the 8 people in the world have the mental disorder. This is a huge issue nowadays. And the paper which is published in Nature Communication, the economic value for protected area through the visitor mental health issue, that can generate about $8 trillion per year. So this is a huge business. In Canada, we use a pet rat. I don't know if you heard about that or not. The doctor can prescribe the prescription for nature. You can go to the park for 1 or 2 weeks. Was bear by the insurance company. The cost was bear by insurance company. This is a green prescription. I think most people know the healing factor in forest. You have native iron. You have different kind of the landscape and also the insect from the forest. And this is the interaction between the forest and the human when you immerse yourself into the forest. I would like to give the case when I visit Japan this August in Agasawa forest area. This is used to be the forest industry is heavily depend on the logging before the 1980, and the timber is the only source of the economic the income, and very few about non-timber forest product and tourism. After that, they generate a lot of the thing, and but after that, they have developed the forest therapy program, and they are integrate with forest health factor, with culture and religion elements. And this is the therapy, forest therapy in Okasawa, and that they have the program depend on what kind of your health condition. And they have the sound therapy as well as food therapy. So most people stay there for two days. They have the significant reduce of their blood pressure, or the disease occurred. And in Korea, in Japan, in Agasawa, each year they have 140 visitors to visit there each year for most of the spend 2 nights there. So the total the income generates about $70 million. So this is another way we generate the funding. So and right now a lot of bamboo forest was using for forest therapy. This is forest bathing in bamboo forest and the bamboo park, and also has a lot of bamboo culture, particularly in China, in Japan, in Southeast Asia. So my final talk is the take-home message is bamboo forest is one of the excellent candidate for generate the carbon, for develop the forest therapy for public health, and in the meanwhile they produce the timber and the ship for the commercial use. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wang. Now I'd like to invite Professor Guomo Zhou. His presentation title is called The King of Carbon Sequestration, From Professional to Public for Bamboo Forests. And Professor Guomo Zhou is a former president and professor at Zhejiang A&F University in China. And one of his team member, Meng Jie, will speak on behalf of Professor Guomo Zhou. Let's welcome Meng Jie.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Meng Jie Zhao, and I'll be representing the research team from Zhejiang Agriculture and Forestry University. Today, there will be mainly 2 topics of our presentation. The first part will be about bamboo forest ability on carbon sequestration, and the second part will be about how we can show these findings in a straightforward way to the general public. So botanically, bamboo is a grass rather than a tree, and it has more than 1,600 species in the family, and it also ranges, its form has a wide range of forms. It can be as small as only 10 to 30 centimeters high, or as large as 10 to 30 meters high. Bamboo forest is one of the world's 2nd largest forest, and it's widely distributed in tropical and subtropical areas, including the Asia-Pacific bamboo region, South American region, and also African region. Specifically in China, it represents about 20% of the total bamboo area in the world, and it's distributed mainly in 15 provinces in southern China. Bamboo is also one of the world's fastest growing planet. Taking the example of Mosul bamboo, it can grow 0.8 meters per day during its fastest growing period. In about just 5 to 6 weeks, bamboo can reach its full height of 10 to 30 meters and then reach maturity in about 5 to 6 years. This process is much faster than most of the trees. And bamboo culms were connected by the underground rhizome system, which allows simultaneous selective cutting of the mature culms from the forests and carbon stock transfers from bamboo forests to bamboo products. Bamboo also shows incredible high carbon sequestration ability compared to other forests located in a similar climate zone. As shown in one of our study conducted by the Eddy Covariance Tower, we found bamboo carbon sequestration is about 24 tons per ha per year, which is twice of the Chinese fir forest and 4 times of the Manson pine forest. Another example of bamboo's high carbon sequestration potential is that while it occupies only about 3% of the total forest area in China, bamboo provides around 7% of the total national forest carbon sequestration. As in uneven aged forest, farmers can harvest mature bamboo culms in every 2 years, which that means, therefore, bamboo forest continuously provides timber every 2 years and transferring carbon stock from forests to products. And with the advanced bamboo processing and utilization technology, China produces more than 3,000 kinds of bamboo products, ranging, basically covering all aspects of life, including food, clothing, architect, and transportation. Bamboo also has many special environmental effects. By using bamboo as a substitute for wood, we're able to reduce deforestation and conserve biodiversity. According to the China Forestry Statistical Yearbook, from 1985 to 2018, the annual output of bamboo increased by 58 times, as shown as the exponential growth in the graph, while the annual output of timber increased by only 39% in the same period. Bamboo can also be a substitute for plastic to reduce environmental pollution and carbon emissions. In recent years, the Chinese government and INBAR has taken a number of initiatives to proceed with more specific actions. And with the support of these policies, bamboo forest will better fulfill its role in environmental protection. To sum up of our last section, bamboo is indeed a critical resource to cope with climate change. First of all, its fast and renewable growth, as well as alternate harvesting of bamboo forests, enable a great potential for carbon sequestration. Secondly, bamboo forest accounts for approximately 3% of the national forest area, providing about 23% of the timber material resources, forming a huge carbon pool of bamboo products. Furthermore, bamboo forest is the most suitable forest type for developing CCER projects and entering the national carbon market. Therefore, bamboo forests have great potential for carbon sequestration and will continuously play an essential role in the future. So, up till now, for the past 20 years, our team has been researching and solving some of the key scientific and technological questions about carbon forest ability of carbon sequestration and made many major achievements. However, there are some knowledge barriers between our research and the general public. In order to address these barriers, we need to educate the general public of some of the amazing aspects of bamboo. For example, of how bamboo forests fix carbon dioxide and where it stores, as well as how it measures carbon sequestration, and furthermore, the distinction between quantity of carbon that's fixed and the quantity that's measured in carbon offset. And therefore, we published 3 science books targeting different audience groups. The first one is shown as on the slide, is exploring carbon in bamboo forest. The second one is wander into the bamboo forest for carbon knowledge. And the third one is bamboo forest, the king of carbon sequestration. The first book, Exploring Carbon in the Bamboo Forest, is designed for college students and the general public, which has about approximately 8 chapters and dives into the theme of carbon and related discussion on carbon sequestration in bamboo forests. The second book is Wander into Bamboo Forest for Carbon Knowledge, which is designed for elementary and middle school students. It presented in the form of both book and audios, and it's about the first ecological fairy tale about bamboo forests. The third book is a children's book entitled Bamboo Forest, the King of Carbon Sequestration, designed in the forms of both characters and short animated videos in both English and Chinese. The book tells about the fascinating story of Bamboo King's battles while emphasizing bamboo's unique traits and capabilities. So we have also created many IPs along with the book, such as Dr. Bamboo, King of Bamboo, and bamboos of different regions, as well as carbon dioxide. And there are also some relevant products from the book and the video, such as some bamboo fans and USB sticks. And that will be it for our presentation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Mengjie. And for our next speaker, I would like to invite Professor Chen Yuanzheng, who's the Secretary General of the Chinese Institute of Green Carbon. And his presentation title is Exploration of Biodiversity Conservation Mechanism Based on Carbon Credits. Let's welcome Yuanzheng.
Good noon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm glad to be here. I'm the Secretary General of Chinese Institute of Green Carbon. I'm thrilled to share with you today our year's research on carbon credit and biodiversity conservation. And I'm equally excited to introduce to you our innovative work, GVER. It means Green Voluntary Emission Reduction. We all know that in 2010, the international community proposed the synergistic implementation of the CBD and the UNFCCC, and the Paris Agreement further emphasized the non-carbon benefits and so on. Therefore, we explored a new mechanism that combines biodiversity credit with carbon credit and develops a new methodology, thereby obtaining funds for biodiversity conservation through carbon credit trading. We discovered the opportunity in producing high-quality carbon zinc with multiple benefits to meet the voluntary carbon reduction and achieve carbon neutrality. The needs of companies and the public, as well as corporate ESG disclosure requirements. our team assisted Shenzhen to develop the Mangrove Conservation Carbon Think project methodology. The developed projects were popular and auctioned at a high price. The project had a protective effect on the habitat of the nationally protected black-faced spoonbill, 黑脸琵鹭. 17 companies participated in 92 rounds of bidding, and it was eventually sold at a price of 485 RMB per ton. And this is a very inspiring case. But this is not a standard product. The CCR VCS GS are standard products. Now, we need a voluntary carbon reduction standard system outside the compliance carbon market. For this reason, the GVER was born. Yeah, we call this solution GVER, Green Voluntary Emission Reduction. The goal of GVER is to establish a globally oriented carbon reduction standard system based in China, including project development, registration, issuance, cancellation, to facilitate the realization of ecological product value and carbon neutrality. It provides tools for domestic and international companies to address climate change. And this is a framework of GVER, including methodology guideline, project guideline, registration guideline, and validation and verification guideline. And this is the governance structure of GVER, our GVER Council, Management Committee, Expert Committee, and the Institutional Committee. This page contains some key words. First, GVER is a supplement to the CCR. And the second, we firmly believe that the biodiversity credit market will become an independent market like carbon credit market will thrive on. Third, we are convinced that Bamboo Carbon Think will go global through GVER. I'm delighted to share with you some lovely images. The first leaf monkey living in the Mang City southwestern part of Yunnan. We wrote the first leaf monkey habitat conservation carbon think project methodology and completed project monitoring and verification. This is our first project registered under GVER. More than 300 monkeys live in the project area, and since 2019, the project has involved tree species transformation and infrastructure construction, skill training, and nature education. The monitoring report shows significant improvements in biodiversity and community benefits, with a marked increase in carbon think. And this is an overview of the project's PDD and the estimated emission reduction. Each hectare reduced 4.5 tons of carbon per year. how lovely the monkeys are. We protected them through GVR. And next, we will develop many types methodologies with multiple benefits. Now, let's look at the bamboo carbon thing. As we know, China is a bamboo kingdom. In 2012, our dean, Madam Li, oh yeah, this is Madam Li. Madam Li organized the CGCF, INBAR, and the Zhejiang AF University to release the carbon think methodology in COP12 in the 16 years ago. In the future, we will continue to work with INBAR to promote the bamboo carbon think, and we choose Zambia as the starting of the bamboo carbon think. Finally, I want to say, changing the world is not a choice, but a responsibility for each of us. Let's take action together with domestic and international enterprise and the public to voluntarily to reduce carbon and achieve carbon neutrality. Let's contribute to building a shared future for mankind and mitigating climate change. We must be the change we want to see. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Yuanzhou. And for our next speaker, I would like to invite Elizabeth Baranas. She's the Director and Business Analysis of the Family Forest Program in the American Forest Foundation. And her presentation title for today is Rooted Resilience, Small Forests, Big Impact on Climate Change Mitigation. Let's welcome Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the role of small family-owned forests on climate change mitigation in the U.S. So first, I want to talk a little bit about what the role, what the opportunity is in the U.S. For climate change using forests. So as I'm sure is not a surprise to anyone, forests have incredible potential to meaningfully mitigate climate change. And within the U.S., natural climate solutions as a whole can mitigate up to 21% of net annual emissions as of 2018. Of that potential, forestry represents the greatest portion. You can see on the slide, reforestation is the largest opportunity. However, reforestation can be quite expensive. And natural forest management or improved forest management is the second biggest opportunity to mitigate climate change as far as natural climate solutions go in the US. So who owns the forest? In the United States, the largest proportion of forest land is owned by families and individuals. These are regular people who own forests, whether it's as part of their farm, or maybe they have a home, or maybe they just have a forested parcel that they own. So it's essential that these individuals and families are included in the effort to mitigate climate change. So as you can see, most family forest ownerships are in parcels of under 5,000 acres, and actually most of that in under 100 acres. However, traditionally, most forest carbon projects in the US have taken place on ownerships of over 5,000 acres. This is because of high costs to start projects, making it very difficult to enter into the market to do a forest carbon project on somebody's property unless they have a whole lot of acres. So it's very important that in order to realize the potential impact of forests in the US on climate change mitigation, that we engage with small family forest owners. They are the key to unlocking mitigation potential of US natural climate solutions. So this is where programs like the Family Forest Carbon Program come in. This program is designed to unlock the potential of U.S. forest carbon by providing owners of small forested parcels access to carbon markets. And we do this by aggregating parcels of people that own as little as 30 forested acres to produce VCUs. This helps to also transition family forest owners to long-term sustainable management. And it's guided by a strong ethic of high integrity to ensure real and meaningful mitigation, generating high-quality VCUs and using an innovative methodology, which I'll talk a little bit about later. Now, engaging families and individuals in climate mitigation requires an understanding of the landowner's motivations and barriers to engaging in this work. Oftentimes, families will have had this land in their families for generations, or maybe they're new to it, but in most cases, people may not have worked with a natural resources professional before. They might not be aware of what to do on their property to reach their goals. So it's very important that we provide landowners with technical support on how to best manage their property and how to realize their goals. So this really ties in with one of the key aspects of this program, which is making sure that we understand what landowners' goals are and we're able to help them individually meet their needs of what that looks like. So for some people, that might be biodiversity. For a lot of people, that's biodiversity. They really care about the birds and the critters on their lands. For other people, for a lot of people as well, that might look like the financial incentive that we provide for the behavior change of landowners. It really varies from person to person, but it's very important for the program in order to understand what the motivations and barriers are, and then go ahead and make sure that we are supporting landowners for the long term in fostering sustainable behavior change. I want to provide an example of one of the families that we've worked with as part of the Family Forest Carbon Program. So you can see here on the screen, this is John. I visited this property earlier this year. Absolutely beautiful property. It is 60 acres of forest land in West Virginia. John and Jean welcomed us with open arms. You know, their grandkids were running around, and they're really excited to pass this forest on into the next generation for hopefully sustainable management for many, many years to come. Their main goals are to really keep the forest in their family and pass it on, keeping that legacy and connection to the land. They heard about the Family Forest Carbon Program through social media advertisement, and we met with them, with our forest professionals, met with them and explained the program, and they were really drawn to the financial incentive in order to be able to keep their forest, prevent it from going through any sort of development and pass it down through generations. So this support will help John and Jean keep the property in their family and contribute meaningfully to climate change mitigation. So far, we have enrolled 500 landowners, and we estimate that to store an additional 1.3 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent over the next 20 years. We started this program in 2020, and expansion is ongoing, so we're very excited about the growth of the program in the years to come. Now, as with any and all climate mitigation efforts, commitment to quality is absolutely key. So I'm going to walk through 3 aspects of our commitment to quality carbon mitigation. First of all, buyer vetting. I did mention earlier that we produce VCUs, and we really care about who is purchasing these credits. So we always make sure that buyers are Paris 1.5 degree aligned, that they're following the mitigation hierarchy of avoid, minimize, rectify, and reduce before offsetting, and that they're intending to retire the credits. So far, we've partnered with companies such as Disney, Netflix, Amazon, and many more to help them address their climate impact. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about the rigorous accounting framework that we use to quantify the carbon credits. Our first of its kind methodology was approved by Verra's Verified Carbon Standard last year in the fall of 2022, and it compares the carbon sequestered on lands enrolled in a carbon program to a control group of highly similar forests that are not included in the program. By measuring the difference between those two forests over time, the methodology is able to isolate the impact that enrollment into a program like the Family Forest Carbon Program has on carbon benefit. So this approach using real similar forests in real time is called a dynamic baseline, and it's constantly updated to account for changes that happen on the landscape, policies, any other factors. So unlike traditional methodologies, which typically set one projected baseline at the beginning of a project and use that throughout, this baseline actually shifts so that we are confident that we are accounting for what is really making a difference. The final aspect that I'm going to discuss related to commitment to quality is lasting claims. Long-term behavior change through engaging landowners in a community of like-minded individuals is very important. So we have a contract with the landowner for 20 years, but their commitment to sustainably managing their forest is, way beyond this. So we have a robust and engaged landowner community. They have an online platform they can go to and ask questions of each other. They can call us. We want to make sure that they are really engaged and committed to their forests. Second, we remotely monitor all enrolled properties for compliance beyond the contract period, and we compensate any reversals or carbon losses that we detect. So in conclusion, family-owned forests are a critical piece of our climate mitigation solution in the United States. We must design programs specifically to meet the needs of these smallholder family forest owners to unlock the potential of natural climate solutions in the US. And finally, we cannot compromise on quality.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And now I would like to invite Mr. Baoming Li. He's CTO of Luoquan Technology Corporation. And his presentation title for today is the Comprehensive Technological Infrastructure for Robust Measurement and Continuous Monitoring of Carbon Sink and its Diverse Application. Let's welcome Baoming.
Hello. Today, my presentation will cover the few agendas. First, I will introduce to you about the infrastructure we have built for this situation. And then I will introduce to you a few applications using our infrastructure, including carbon monitoring, carbon management, and carbon trade and carbon standards. And later, I will introduce why it is important to use our infrastructure for natural resources management. First, let me introduce to you the infrastructure we have built over the years. So it's built on top of Luoquan Space Earth Integrated Spatial Temporal Digital Base that we have built for other applications. But the main component remains the same, and it is specially tailored for the full life cycle management of the carbon trade and carbon management. The first component is the satellite imagery, which provide very wide coverage and near real-time response with high accuracy. And we combine all different sources from different international vendors. And although it has very good benefit, it still has some inherent limitations, such as cloud cover, interference, and need collaboration, which need additional methods and devices to compensate. The next component is remote sensing and IoT devices, so which can complement and enhance the data and the information on the satellite imagery. And the sources can come in from airborne, from drones, from ground-based sensors. So this cover a lot of different scenarios, can provide very high quality, high resolution, and high precision data. But it, with its limitations as well, it has high complexity and high variability, and in order to merge with the satellite imagery, need very good models and algorithms to do that. Next, our component is artificial intelligence, which helps us to bring all the different data sources together and using advanced algorithms and models in machine learning, deep learning, and computer vision, so that to merge all the data and use all the technologies to serve our purpose. Our infrastructure can integrate and work together with other platforms and tools such as TensorFlow, PaddlePaddle, and PyTorch, and AWS, and others. So the next component in our infrastructure is the collaborative computing between the edge and the cloud. While we can benefit from the efficiency that we do the local computation at the data source, and we can still enjoy the unlimited scalability that's offered in the cloud. The next component is integrative communication, which combines satellite, ground, and mobile networks to connect the edge and the clouds. And we will pick the most available and the most ready, the best options for the communication protocol and approach in order to counter different situations and to solve problems in different locations. And the next component is the blockchain, which we use to secure and verify data and basically save the critical data in the carbon management process in a distributed ledger, in a consistent and in a consensus mechanism. And it supports public, private, and hybrid blockchains so that we can offer high performance, high transparency, and high trust, and resolving issues that with the scalability, and it still meets all the various regulatory frameworks and regulations. I'd like to talk about how our infrastructure is going to be used. One key area can be used in robust measurement of the carbon sink. In carbon market, there are many different methodologies. Our infrastructure can support the most widely adopted methodologies with different models with different parameters. Some parameters are very difficult to measure, but our technology combine all the different data sources together can make them reliable and consistent, and we will validate, cross-validate the data from very advanced algorithms. And the blockchain can help us to create immutable records so that it will prevent tampering, fraud, and double counting. And another application is using our infrastructure in continuous monitoring of the carbon activities. So no matter the carbon activities is required for measure of the environmental conditions change or the changes in the livelihood of the people living in the ecosystem or the biomasses that captured by the crops or the forest, our infrastructure can serve the purpose really well in all these cases. Our infrastructure provides all different mechanisms so that different carbon standards and verification mechanisms is supported with consistency, with compatibility, and the compliance. So we provide a very sound foundation to develop new carbon standards, especially for developing world and for the new communities just on board this carbon trade train. And I'd like to show two examples of our infrastructure can support and enables. One is the Africa Carbon Standard. That is a regional initiative to expand the carbon trade market to African countries. And they are mostly in a voluntary carbon market. So the second one is the China Carbon Standard, a national initiative that will cover the largest carbon market in the world. Specifically, in China carbon standard, it requires continuous monitoring of the carbon activities. That is the key feature in our infrastructure that can support using the remote sensing data and the satellite imagery. The next case that our infrastructure can support is monitoring the changes and the trends of the natural resources management. And there is many great initiatives that in the world. One example is the READ Plus program, another is the Bone Challenge, and the third is Kenya's initiative to plant 15 billion trees by 2032. All those are very noble and impactful, but they require infrastructure to monitor their progress and can validate their claimed result. Our infrastructure can fit the bill really well here. Collaboration is very essential for different stakeholders, and we welcome and all the stakeholders to work with us to help to design, implement, and deploy our infrastructure and to benefit more people around the world. Our infrastructure is compliant and compatible with all the existing policies and regulatory frameworks, and it lays a strong foundation for future involvement of the policy and the regulatory frameworks. I want to talk a little bit Luoquang's role in this carbon market. So we are not only the main developer and operator of the infrastructure I presented here, and we have worked with many local participants and workers in Africa, in other countries as well. And we visited the poorest area in Kenya, and we developed carbon projects in Kenya, and we have active collaborations with government agencies in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Papua New Guinea, and other countries. We intend to provide the most advanced technology and framework for them to develop their carbon standards and to do the carbon trade effectively. In summary, so I have presented you a framework that we have built can really benefit the carbon trade, the carbon monitoring, and the carbon ecosystem. And let's work together to join force together to make a better future and to bring a green world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Baomi. Now let's turn to our next speaker. Her name is Tingting Mei. She is Assistant Professor of College of Environment and Resources, Carbon Neutrality Research Institute of Zhejiang A&F University. And her presentation title is Grading of Products Using Bamboo as a Substitute for Plastic Based on an Integrated Environmental Effect. Let's welcome Tingting.
Thank you, Mr. Pan, and good noon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tingting Mei from Zhejiang Agricultural and Forestry University. So today, on behalf of Professor Guomo Zhou, I'd like to give a presentation on grading for products using bamboo as a substitute for plastic based on an integrated environmental effect. To address the issue of high carbon emission and environmental pollution caused by plastics, over 140 nations have implemented plastic bans and restriction policies, and also actively searching for other new materials to replace the plastic. So bamboo possessed the advantages of being low carbon, fast growing, renewable, and degradable, rendering it a highly commendable substitute for the plastic. On November 7, 2022, the Chinese government and the INBAR has launched an initiative of bamboo as a substitute for the plastic, providing a nature-based solution for high energy consumption and non-degradable plastic. So in China, we have more than 3,000 bamboo products in over 10 categories, and among which the bamboo products can be the substitute for plastics was called BSP products. And however, the BSP products have different environmental benefits, and it is important to have to develop a scientific, uniform, and normative method for grading the BSP products. So grading the BSP products is mainly based on evaluation of the environmental effects. And the environmental effects of the BSP products, including mitigating the climate change by reducing the CO2 or GHG emissions, and preserve the natural resources by reducing fossil fuel consumption, protecting environment by reducing plastic waste, and benefit human health by reducing the harmful substances. To promote the grading of BSP products, there are two levels of indicators: the primary indicators and the secondary indicators. In secondary indicators, we got emission reduction rate of submission, ERS, substitution rate of material, SMR, product renewal ratio, PRR. With these three secondary indicators, we get primary indicators: the effect of bamboo as substitute for plastic, EBSP. So these are the calculations for the secondary indicators. And with calculated secondary indicators, we conduct a weight analysis to obtain W values. And then we analyze the importance of a different threshold range for the secondary indicator to get a p-value. So these are the two analyses for the getting the secondary indicator. And then with the secondary indicators and their W and the P values, we can calculate the EBSP with the following formulas. Here, with the graded, so in summary, the BSP product grading includes 5 steps. First, we select typical BSP products. In our study, we selected 30 products in 6 categories. And then we calculate the ERRS, SMR, and PRR, and determine the weights of W and P, and then calculate EBSP. With the EBSP values, we can grade the different for the bamboo products. So in this table, we can see with different EBSP values, we grade the products into 4 levels from A to D with different environmental benefits, from very strong environmental benefits to the moderate environmental benefits. So in our study, we found the bamboo teeth brush, fork, knife, spoon, chopsticks, and powder film, food box, and slippers are in the grade A with very strong environmental benefit. Bamboo table, drawer, mattress, carpets, cotton, and plates are in grade B with strong environmental benefit. Bamboo benches, box, and plastic box, packaging box are in grade C with moderately strong environmental benefit, while bamboo lamps are in grade D with moderate environmental benefits. So with our results, our results can be used for the governments to formulate supportive policies and measures for the key BSP products, for producers to find a higher environmental benefit BSP product, for consumers to purchase environmentally friendly BSP products. Our results was released as a standard, as a first national group standard in NG on August 16, 2023, during the Bamboo as a Substitute for Plastic Innovation Conference. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all the speakers have spoken today, and I'm going to be the last speaker. And so you guys may already know my name is Chun Yupan. I'm a PhD student right now at University of British Columbia in Canada, the Faculty of Forestry. And today I'm going to talk about the title called The Development Progress of Canadian Carbon Offset Projects, the Opportunities and Challenges. And yeah. Yeah, first thing first, I would like to introduce the Human Nature Youth Club. So this club is a non-for-profit organization that targeting on the power of youth. And they develop a lot of programs and projects related to nature, environment, climate change. And these including a lot of research projects. And they also host the local conference of youth, which is called the LCOI Canada. And they host it for both 2022 and 2023. So they've done a lot of great work regarding the youth power to mitigate climate change. And yeah, I've been working with them as well, and we developed a project specifically targeting the forestry carbon offset in Canada. So Canada has a lot of forest lands. It ranks third globally. It possesses more than 300 million hectares of forest in the globe. However, Canada has not many projects regarding the forest actively. There are only 4 of them from VCS and only 5 of them from British Columbia. So VCS is a voluntary market and BC is a compliance market. We do have several methodologies and protocols in place, but majority of them are still under development. You can see that in the pie chart that Canada has only 9 of the forestry projects right now in place. And if you compare with the California carbon offset program, in just 2020, they have already 130 projects in place. So we can see that Canada is really a nascent market regarding forestry carbon offset. And the public remains very, very unaware of this thing. If you ask an average Canadian on the street, they don't know about this stuff. And even for government bodies, either for provincial government or federal government, they have limited power and capacity to develop these projects or methodologies. So all resulted in the significant lowering the speed of developing the relevant protocol and methodologies. But we would like to investigate the key challenges. So as we all know that Canada is very prone to wildfires. And yes, wildfire is a thing that if you look at the 2023, we have a significantly higher of forest land burned in this year. And this is significantly higher than any of the last 5 years. However, this is not very special to Canada. A very special thing for Canada is about the forest ownership. So the majority of the forest in Canada is publicly owned. So 90% is owned by the province and territories, and 4% is owned by the federal government. They call it the crown forest, and only 6% of them are privately owned. So this created a huge problem regarding to the carbon rights. So the relationship between First Nations and Crown Forests is very, very complex. They are shaped by the historical treaties, negotiations, and city territories. And I would like to say that indigenous people in Canada has been managing the land for generations since time immemorial. And there are already many, many ongoing conflicts of the property rights regarding the forest land and forest management. And now the carbon came into play. So it's adding an extra layer of complexity and conflicts. And indigenous people, oh yeah, I've been talking about that. So BC has been a leader in solving this problem, especially for the carbon rights to the indigenous people. They created what's called the Atmospheric Benefit Sharing Agreement. This is called the ABSA. So currently only BC allows that. So basically ABSA allows the First Nations to trade, to develop carbon projects and to have benefits from the carbon and under this agreement. But currently only BC has that. So we see a pressing need to scale up this similar mechanism to enable all the provinces in Canada to, for the First Nation indigenous peoples to have these opportunities to gain profits, not profits, gain benefits from the carbon projects. And beyond climate change mitigation, there are a lot of other co-benefits. One of them is biodiversity protection. We have a great example in BC that is called the Great Bear Rainforest Carbon Project, which provides an essential habitat for this bear. Is white fur. It's called Kermode bear. And other functions like ecosystem services, it provides water purification, soil conservation, and also, as well as air quality enhancement. And last one is about socioeconomic benefits. They provide huge opportunities for the local community in terms of they provide the employment opportunities and increased income sources. So I think that's basically of my talk. Thank you guys very much. Now I would like to invite the first 6 speakers on the stage. We have very, very short Q&A section, very, very short one. Please get up to the stage. I'll try to ask one question for each panelist, and yeah, please answer in a succinct way and just in the timely manner. Yes, first question is for Mr. Ho. I would like to ask you that how does enterprises and companies can they use for the forestry carbon offset or forestry carbon projects to reach the carbon neutrality goals?
Okay, in the past decade, there are lots of the corporations that buy the carbon credit from different market, but we realized that most until these 2 years, I found a lot of the top 500 corporation, international corporation, they invest forest carbon or forest management project by themselves. The third part, they can also donate a lot of funds to the NGOs, just like China Green Carbon Foundation, and then other partners. We can do the projects together.
Thank you very much. Next question is for Guangyu. Your discussion spans on bamboo carbon and bamboo forest therapy, 2 diverse areas. How can these be synergized as a nature-based solution for both climate change and human health?
This is a very good question. as forest therapy and carbon management in bamboo forest, both is require intensive management. And when you cut the bamboo every year, you generate the carbon, also generate the income for the local farmer. And in the meanwhile, you have the very good facility, and that will be also was very important for develop the forest therapy for the public health. So those both is integrate together very well in that kind of sense.
Okay, thank you very much. And third one is for Professor Zhou. As a researcher, what motivates you to develop general books for the public?
Yeah, as a scientist, we have do the research on bamboo forest for more than 20 years. We found that the bamboo forest is a very special and amazing forest plant. Just I mentioned the Ms. Zhou said there are more than 1,000 species and also have 1,000 products made of bamboo. And also wide distribution in the world. And we find that the bamboo has a very strong ability to fix CO2. So I think as a scientist, we should tell this very important forest to the public. But different people have different needs. So we write 3 books just for the university students and the middle students and also for the children. And also different visions. We write the books and we have created the short videos and also we have audios. We have in the English, Chinese, and also Chinese pinyin. So they can learn the climate change, then they learn Chinese. Thank you. So this is why we, as a scientists, we want to write the science popular books. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Zhou. And next one is for Yuanzhe. How do you differentiate between GVER and VCS?
Thank you. Hello. Thank you for your question, Dr. Pan. I think the most significant difference from VCS to GVR is GVR further emphasized the non-carbon benefits. We combine the biodiversity conservation with carbon credit, which carbon reduction standard system can protect the panda, elephant, or other animals. The GVR can do this. And we firmly believe that carbon credit will become the biodiversity credit will become an independent market. And the biodiversity credit are as important as the carbon credit. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And next one for Elizabeth. As a small forest owner, how can you address the cost challenges associated with the carbon projects?
Great question, thank you. By themselves, family forest owners will have problems in terms of upfront costs. But programs like the Family Forest Carbon Programs and some other programs that are out there are able to aggregate small family forest-owned properties together so that we can reduce the costs of verification and validation by sort of spreading it across all of the acreage that we're able to enroll and participate in the program.
Yeah, thank you so much. We're approaching time. Mr. Lee, can you make it short? The very last question. Could you elaborate on how remote sensing technology is leveraged to monitor changes in carbon dynamics?
Thank you for the question. I think that if we put in one word, is the credibility. By using the scientific method to measure and monitor the changes, we can make sure all the carbon credit and the carbon activity are monitored using scientific method. It's credible, verifiable, and trustworthy. so it can enable the further development of carbon trade market and for the financial market to develop further on top of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we have small gifts in the table, and you guys can take the gifts. And we have lunch outside. If you walk out, and you can take the free lunch and for today's lunch. And thank you guys very much again, and I wish you a very, very enjoyable, fruitful COP in Dubai. Thank you.
Every guest come here.